What's going on, team? Matt here from the PT Profit Leverage and Lifestyle Show. I've got an absolute superstar with me today, Jade from FitTribe. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
I am wonderful, Matt. I'm here. Why would I not be?
100%. So, for those who don't know, we actually, Jade and her husband, Jake, mentored me in my business last year. Actually, not too long ago. They actually helped me move to online, which is a massive step for me. And obviously now we're crushing it for the business coaching as well. So I wanted to get you on here as well because I got a lot of good feedback from Jake's episode as well. And you're also a bit of a powerhouse.
I think you were like on about, what was it, about five or 10K originally, and then it's like now you're doing 100K months.
Yeah. Literally I was at 5K a month for the business coaching, and last month we did 120K and on track for.
Not much of a are you the focus? I love it. Not a change at all. Love and life. I love it. It's pretty cool.
Yes. But yeah, thank you so much for jumping on. So for people who don't know who you are, do you want to give us a bit of a backstory about what you do? Obviously, a little bit about FitTribe, and then we can dive into some questions from there.
Yeah, so I'm the co-founder and CEO of FitTribe. We are run by two other individuals as well, Jake and Paige, you'll see them on amongst our stuff. We just celebrated 3 years on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I don't know what day of the week it is now. So we've just hit 3 years. And from that, I was just telling Matt before this, started with a collective $1,000 each. So we started this business at 3,000, and we are on the 13th of February, and we have already hit over 110K for this month alone.
Big changes over the last couple of years.
But slight changes, yes. And FitTribe, we are online fitness. We coach nurses and teachers, busy wives alike. We just coach people online, and we have a great community.
Awesome. So good. Let's dive into obviously the online side of things. Of course, it wasn't all like this. Obviously, doing 100K months now, or almost 100K weeks by the sounds of it pretty soon. Um, but do you want to take us back into, where it started, 3 years ago? Um, why did you guys, or why did you even want to do FitTribe? Why did you want to build the online business?
Yeah, so I'm very honest. Matt has worked with me and he knows I don't do things half. So what we did, we started FitTribe out of necessity. We came from in-person training, and that was a franchise that was no longer. It was bankruptcy. So we basically had a weekend organized with paid best friend and Jake, and we had a weekend organized on this week months in advance, and it was all pretty much blown up in our face that we no longer had positions at this company. So then in this weekend, we were like, okay, what do we know how to do? Well, we know fitness, and Jake's done a bit of online work before. So we had $1,000 each, and we built it in 2 days. And this is where I talk to people, and they're always about planning and starting. And the problem is people never start. So this is why it takes a really long time. This is why we work really quickly in what we do. And in that first year, uh, lessons upon lessons, kicked in the teeth lessons, things you never thought were possible. But in that first year, the one thing I always say is investing in as a like someone to make you better will never go astray. Like if you look at the right research and you had that, you can only improve. So we improved and went to a high ticket training, more one-on-one service. It was a phenomenal training we did. It wasn't who we are as people, I'm not going to say what it is, but it taught us skills we didn't have. This was in about July. We started in March. From making that change, we were then able to travel Europe for 6 months. So in this was all in the first year. Don't ask me why, but we were doing about 20K months, and that was sensational. We're doing everything by ourselves, and when the freedom and you're able to travel. So we did that in the first year, and then came back, found out I was pregnant. Phenomenal, super well off, especially when you kind of live in paycheck to paycheck. And yeah, this was the February the following year where we were very stressed because we came back, and if you have families, money is very important. It's life, it's blood, it's food. It's not just you and your partner, anymore, so it's a bit more than you. We went to a conference, and it was a David Goggins conference, and we were sitting next to people, and they were in the fitness industry, and they basically called us idiots in a nice way of get out of fitness. Like, why would you do that? Like all everything you could. And when we came home, we stood on our lawn for an hour and we basically discussed why we shouldn't do it, and everything else. And then Jay came to us the next day and we're like, okay, we need to up our ads and we need to invest in a mentor and we need to sort this out. And we have been very fortunate to select the right people for our business at the right time. They've not always worked out, but they've been what we needed at that time. And it's like a cannonball effect of where you get into. From that point, we've met incredible people, but that next year was about investing into our business growth wise. We have phenomenal skills, but to access those, we needed people to help us that had done it before us. It's like a cheat code. Instead of us trying to do it all the time and not knowing and hoping, just paid for people to tell us what to do. So it made it a lot more sense. So in that next year, it was crazy. It was from investing people, and then we started doing 100K months. And the phenomenal change in our business by investing into the right people. That was the whole of that next year was building and growing and changing and shaping. And then the year after that, it's basically just compounding. Because once it starts, it's very hard to stop because it's just like the little things you thought mattered, you don't even notice anymore. And then in that third year, we had found our right mentor. We had found the people to be a part of the systems to use. And now it's just, we know exactly that we need to spend this to get this result. And that's where we are in business now, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously you said it pretty well there in terms of predictability. Obviously, Jake talks a lot about the data. It's the big thing I learned from him is obviously the data.
Yeah, I am not the data girl. Jake's the data boy.
But that's one of the big things I picked up from him. But you're right, though. If you can obviously build like a ecosystem that is predictable, then there's a lot less stress on the plate these days as well. I want to talk about when you transitioned. Did you say you transitioned to a high ticket offer in that first year?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you talk us through that? Because a lot of just in the general stigma for online PTs, a lot of people think it's a very low ticket product also.
Yes.
So what made you make that change? Was that like a mentor or someone, or was there a reason behind that?
Um, there was curiosity is probably my best way of putting it about it. It was Paige, our fitness director, our other co-founder. She found this guy online, and we had looked into like four or five. We looked into many and found what worked best for us. And it was going, well, we're doing the same, but we're charging pennies, but these people are doing less and they're earning and doing more. It didn't make sense to us. We'd never sold that way before. We'd never marketed us that way before. Um, and the change was easy. It's really weird. You think it's going to be this massive mission, but it was all about a sales script. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing different. It's all about delivering your product in a more refined way and delivering that to your client. But that's all it is. There was nothing special. There was nothing unique. We didn't really change a whole heap. It was how it was presented. It's shit scary the first time you do it, but then it's like, oh, okay. And
Mhm.
then it just kept growing from there.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing when you redid my sales script when we first started working together as well.
Oh my God, you're got PTSD watching. That's what you should put up, Matt. You should put up and you should critique yourself from the first sales video Matt sent to me. And because he was like, I don't know why this person didn't, I'm following them up and I don't know why they didn't sign. And I was like, did we watch the same thing I watched? So I think it's phenomenal, especially, and this is just a tip if you are doing it, is self-reviewing and having self-critiques. Because if you can do that, it's awful to do. As I said to Matt when I said this here, I'm like, you're gonna hate this. There's nothing enjoyable about this. But when you can critique yourself and grow that way and open to it, like I think you're a prime candidate. Look what happened, right? Look what happened. You phenomenally changed. And from there, it was like pretty much, it was very, when you got on a sale call, it was very different. And when you're buying from confidence, you have confidence. And I think that's what portrayed in those.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, me and my clients were doing role plays the other day. It was amazing how scared people were, even just role playing with me. And I was like, look, wouldn't you rather do it with me rather than having to try and figure this stuff out with a brand new prospect that could possibly, give you money? Wouldn't you rather practice here? And everyone's just like so scared to volunteer for a role play.
Best tip you can say is that they're going to say no to you anyway. But would you not rather be the person that got them to say yes and you changed their lives 2 months later? Or are you going to be scared enough and not get out of your own way to help them because you're worried of what someone thinks? I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this podcast, but you can bleep it out if you want, but like, fuck what they think. Because at the end of the day, you've got to fulfill your purpose and what you've designed. And no one is going to help them do it unless they get out of their own way. So instead of thinking, oh, I'm selling to the person, yeah, everyone's selling to the person, whether you're doing a job, whether you're buying groceries, whether you're talking to your children about eating the vegetables, you got to sell it somehow, right? But if you go with the mentality, I'm trying to sell this person, or if you go into this mentality, hey, I'm going to change this person's life by what I'm doing, you won't sell again because it comes from a place of service, not a place of you taking something from someone. And then your worth will be whatever you say it is.
Yeah, 100%. I was talking to not talking to someone. I was listening to a video from I can't remember who it was, but basically they were saying that they played this little, not so much a trick, but basically there was like two founders, and basically any time that the other person made a sale, the other person would change the contract to be a higher price, but the actual person wouldn't even know what the price is that they're selling until the actual sales call. So it actually forced them just to read whatever was on the script, I guess, or the contract. So basically, that's how they transitioned their price to be, obviously a lot higher really fast. Is because as soon as they made a sale, they're like, okay, cool. Well, the next person is going to be a higher price, and they just kept going until they pretty much got objections on the price.
I would have a panic attack. If anyone did that to me on a scale, I'd probably kill them afterwards. But it's just a mindset. But it's also got to have the fact of what it's worth. If you're training someone and you've got a product that's 13K, but you can get that person 10K a month, well, is it really that much of a product, right? If it's like, how much should we pay for uni these days?
Yeah.
I think I have a hex set of like 40K. Like, shut up, people. And that does nothing. Like, it has a coloring in pencil on there, I'm pretty sure.
I want to go through a couple of other lessons in the first
Sorry. Sorry.
because obviously we talked about the transition to go to the high ticket side of things, but what were some of the other lessons that made a big difference or pivoted you guys towards the success that you've got now?
Marketing, massive one. We wouldn't be where we are without our marketing company. Very phenomenal at what they do. Communication within a team, super clear. You need to be super clear on what you want, because if you're clear, they're clear. You can't really get wrong in the process. We now have a team of 25, I think. So it's super clear. And and the last one, you don't have to be an asshole. You don't have to run your company like Jeff Bezos to be incredible. I run our company like these are my friends, but they're going to go do what they need to do, and we're going to have a good time whilst doing it. Because I want to enjoy the people I work with. About to go to the Philippines and run half a marathon with some of these people. And then we're going to meet up in a house and people go, oh, you can, but I don't want to be lonely. Like $10,000 and losing stuff is not worth that to me. It's more about building the environment that you want to have. So for me, that's super, super important to making sure people are really clear. So it comes back to communication yet again. So when we hire people, the line I always go is like, you'll work hard. Like that's not a question. That's going to happen. You're going to work hard, but you're going to love the space you're in. No one hates working with us. The only people that don't make it can't cut it. So it's being very clear. And an example is it was this ship. They were hiring people to come onto the ship. And they said, there is a 98% chance you are going to die and not return. There is a 98% chance, but there's a 2% chance that you will love it, that you're going to have this magical journey, right? So people aren't going on there thinking, oh, I'm going to return. People are signing up knowing they're probably going to die, but they do it anyway so that they're expecting it. So it's being super clear with that communication and just investing in good people makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't realize you guys have got 25 people now. That's huge. That's
Uh,
crazy.
Including, I could be lying, could be more. I don't know. So let me have a look. I don't like to lie, people. If you get to know me, I will tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. Direct communication. Here you go. Yeah, or 24, I think, including salespeople.
So let's talk about that for a second for the team. So at what stage did you start to outsource certain things? So obviously there's three of you. Or even what, like, you guys obviously super clear on who does what, and I don't know if that happened from the start or not, but is that pretty much how it went? Because obviously I think Paige does the, or did do the programming side of things. Jake
It's
pretty much
completely
does.
changed now, Matt. It's completely changed now. We've outsourced our sales as well. So our onboarding. So it's yet again this redefining, be really clear in your roles. When we started to outsource was when we were too busy in our sectors, right? It's like when people get meal prep. It's the best example I can give. Are you actually just being lazy and getting meal prep and then you've got time to go watch Netflix? Or do you genuinely have no time to do it so that you get you foods delivered and it saves you time? Alex Samosi said this. He would go eat Taco Bell, which is like $4 or whatever it is, and that would save him time and he'd get it back. Then he's not going to go watch Netflix with extra time. He's working on his business. So when we were very much, and it's bootstrapping. FitTribe is a bootstrapped company. There is no cash injections. There's nothing fancy. It is hard work. And when you start, you're lean. Think about being lean as long as you can, and that will propel you so you can invest further into it. Being completely honest with you, I'm trying to think of the first person we probably brought on was a VA. Didn't work out very well, but we learned about new ways to hire VAs, how to do it. And our longest term person, I think, is Z. She's been with us for nearly 2 years now. She's phenomenal. She's like part of our family. She defends our company like no other. I'm so excited to see her in the Philippines. But yeah, it's just, I think that was our first one. And getting the right VA was super, super helpful. And she is phenomenal.
Yeah, awesome. So what was the VA doing for you? Was it admin? Was it social media? Like,
Originally, they were doing outbound calls, which is terrible in Australia. Like, don't get, and I say this with so much love, don't get Filipinos to do outbound calls in Australia. It never ends well. But now she's like head of our admin staff.
yeah, right. Solid. Very cool. I'll just go back to what you said before around the marketing side of things because um I obviously know you guys do a lot of ads. And when even when we was working together, I wasn't doing ads at all. I was doing organic. So can you tell me a little bit about why you guys do ads? And I suppose, do you do organic at the same time as running ads, or do you just do paid ads?
You can't do organic, do paid, and if you can't do paid, do organic. It's good to have both. We are not very good at organic, very being completely honest with you. We pay a lot of money for ads. I think like $33,000 a month, just to give you a hindsight, like $1,500 a day. I don't feel good saying that amount. But it makes sense though. When you know your numbers, it makes sense and you're less worried about it. But the second part to that as well is then once you've got one, it's getting good at the other. So now it's slowly getting into organic, where it's kind of that domino effect, where you have the trust built in one area and you can build the other area. So marketing, we just did it that way. It's like a cheat code, right? It's like when an influencer sells, it's like Kylie Jenner, right? Youngest billionaire. Reason she sold out is because it's not because her product and her lip kits were better than anybody else's. It's because she was Kylie Jenner, right? So she's got that cheat code going into that. We don't have that. So marketing is like that shortcut, right? It's a little bit of a shortcut. Jake knew how to market a little bit, but with the fact of it, yet again, it was like a year and a half in, we made that decision to invest into Charlie and phenomenally change our assets on it. So yeah, so it's always a different playing game. But my suggestion is, yeah, also be careful with marketing agencies. There's a lot of interesting ones out there. We're very lucky with what we have. I'll be honest with you. And Matt's laughing because he's had some experience with interesting ones, but you can get beautiful ones that really produce great results. So that's why we did it organic, because we haven't mastered, and marketing can be controlled.
Yeah, 100%. I think in every industry there's some good eggs and some bad eggs. I think you just gotta obviously do your research before obviously making a decision as for what people do with business coaching for me, and probably the same for online coaches as well. People obviously will shop around a little bit as well. What about year two? So year two, so at this stage, you're 12 months in. I think you said you're doing about 20K a month within the first 12 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
Year two was where we invested in our first mentors. So that was mentor year. So
Yeah.
that was a year of trialing different people, put that politically correct as I can, and finding our people and finding the people that inhibited what we wanted to be. So it's not in, when I say this, when you get mentorships to grow, because that's what you need at a certain point of business. You can't do it by yourself because it's like, unless you strike lucky, which people I think just think they're magical or they think they're better than everybody else. FitTribe, we have no ego. We work on the fact is that if you're better, you're better. I don't care. Like, I don't care if I've trained you or someone's, if you're coming in with a better idea, it's better. So when we bring people on, what we evaluate now is if it's the same values, especially with getting us there. It's no point in investing in like someone, say like Alex Samosi, if you don't share his same traits, there's no point. Or like getting Gary Vee, if you don't want to work 24/7. Like Gary Vee would be the worst mentor in the world for you. Whereas a couple of the mentors that we brought on have complete wrong values. So it's different comparisons. So finding the people, but every single person you invest into will make you better somehow. Make you better somehow in communication, with knowledge, with growth, with meeting other people. It's connections that way. So the year two was all about upskilling ourselves in every area. So it was about investing in the right mentorships, learning what to do, learning how to be better at sales, upgrading our programs. It was all about just upskilling every part of FitTribe. That was what year two was. Just an upskill year. And when you look back at it now, it makes sense, but it's also hard to take those plunges because sometimes mentors aren't cheap, but they're rightly so. No mentor should be cheap. If they're a good mentor, they're not cheap is my best option there, because if they are, why?
Yeah. 100% agree. Like, you obviously get what you pay for. So that's awesome. So obviously year two is obviously full of mentorship, which is beautiful. So talk us through year three. So where are you at after year two? You're doing what, 50, 100K months at that stage?
Yeah, it's well, we're heading into year three. Being completely honest with you again, is that we were looking at bringing a sales mentorship on, but we weren't paying ourselves on time. So just think of like, even at a business, it's still not like, oh my God, you're making this clear cut money, right? People don't realize what things go into. So we're still trying to keep our head above water, keep things going and keep things moving. But it's a lot of grit, this, right? I get emotional about it because it's like the that cartoon you see where two miners are below and above each other and one keeps going. They keep going, and then they stop. And it's like the pot of gold's right there, but they walk away. We could have done that at every point and no one would have said boo. But then there's that one person that goes below you and they just keep going just a little bit longer and they hit the gold. At those stages, we were doing well. We weren't doing great. There's always that question of if. So it was like hitting the right sales mentor. That was super important. And then from there, it kind of spiraled. So we went just like, it just kept going. And from there, it turned into 80, hundreds. And then for the year three, it basically ending on one of our biggest months. But then you can see the trajectory of everything we've learned from the past 2 years of literally earning nothing for 6 months, by the way. Like, just to be clear, like, you need to be willing to eat nothing. Everyone wants everything, but for nothing. So it was learning about that. So by year three, we had given our heart and soul. We were reaping what we had sowed. We had reaped what we had sowed and keep going up to there. So yeah, so the year three was about just fucking shit up. It was about finding out what we loved, finding out what worked. And it's funny, even coming into year four, we have fixed so many parts of our business that we didn't even realize were issues, especially with the sales taking over, the marketing taking over. We have leaned out this business so much, phenomenally so, and bringing costs down. And it's things that you don't be aware of, but that's what year three set us on the right path. And now year four is about making this a machine, a well-oiled machine, where it's 100K weeks.
That's awesome. It's been so good to see the journey. I suppose for the people that listen to this podcast, they're probably still starting out or they're wanting to start out for online PT. So do you have any, I suppose, like any advice or any tips in terms of how to get started?
Yeah. Think of this like a uni degree, right? You pay for a uni degree, what, 40, 60,000? I don't know what these uni degrees, I know mine was ridiculous. You pay for this to literally hope to get a job, right? Say if you invest the same yourself in mentors and give yourself cheat codes and it took you 3 years. You need to know and be patient. That's my first thing. Be patient and find someone who's done what you want to do and copy it. My best advice. If you want to save yourself years, if you want to save yourself heartaches like we did and questions, if someone's done it before you, why would they not do it? You're not better than them. Shut up.
Mm.
Shut up, Benjamin from Newcastle who knows how to lift a squat. Shut up. Like, it's so ridiculous when people go, oh, but I'm slightly better. Who cares? Like, I have, like, put your ego in your back pocket and you'll be fine. If you can willing to learn and sit up and shut up, you will earn money faster. Trust me, faster. I have zero ego. I don't care. I don't care if Benjamin from Newcastle comes in and says, oh, this would be really good to implement for squats. I'll listen. I'll be like, hey, you might be really good at them. What's wrong with mine? And I will adapt and change. But that would be my biggest point of advice is that find a cheat code if you can, invest in a mentor if you can. It would save us a year. It probably would have saved us a year. But in that same breath, I wouldn't have probably met the people I have. I wouldn't have probably learnt the lessons I had and maybe made them later when I had more money, which no one ever wants. So go into it, know it's going to take time, but yet again, so what? Like, so what? Like, what if it takes you 5 years? And this is where people go, oh, it's only 10K. 10K a month? Are you joking? I get so annoyed with people where 10K is no longer seen as something amazing. Tell me what job pays you 10K to sit at home and help people.
Yeah.
Shut up, Benjamin from Newcastle. I don't know who he is, but I've made him up and I really have despised him now. But I think that's the thing, just know and be grateful. And any other job is paying, if they were paying you $2,000 a week, the only ones that I know do that are like FIFO work. Their lives suck.
Yeah. I was actually talking to someone yesterday. He's like, I just can't do this job anymore. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, it hurts my back every single day. Waking up at 4 a.m., getting home at 6 p.m. Like, who wants that type of life?
Yeah, and I think it's just be grateful. Like if you're earning a wage from doing something like this and it's $1,500 a week and that's what, like $6,000 a month, you joking?
Mm,
It's that freedom that it comes with it. That's still a job. It might not be hundreds of thousands, but be grateful for every step of the journey. Be grateful for every client. Makes things easier.
yeah, 100% agree. So that was really helpful, by the way. Just going back to the sales side of things, because I know you helped me really nail my sales script when we were working together. Can you give us some, when you were saying before about the sales script in terms of how you present the product or the service, can you
Yeah.
give us some insight into what you mean by that, or can you go into a little bit more detail in terms of what people could do to, if, for example, if they want to transition to like a higher ticket option, because a lot of personal trainers will be like, oh yeah, it's XYZ for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Whereas obviously you guys work on more of a long-term commitment.
Yeah.
Um, so have you got any advice or any more tips on the sales script side of things?
Invest in a mentor. It's my first thing. I'm not going to solve your sales script in 2 seconds here, but your best sales script coming from there is your confidence within your product, how you speak. And if you don't know why they want to do it, you're never going to get them. So especially you have to think as well. So say with us, we have a lady that wants to lose 20 kilos. You cannot do that in 6 weeks. It's impossible. And if it is, you're going to be on a horrible diet and they're going to be eating rice and beans, and no one likes that. So where you need to establish is, do you have pain? You don't have pain and you don't know why someone wants, and this can go to any sales script. You don't know why they want your product, whether it's software, whether it's training program, whether it's mentorship, whether it's money, relationships. If you don't know why someone wants something, no matter how good you are at closing, you will never close them because there's no reason to close them. So you need to establish pain to have a result. And then at the end, you need to be able to tie their pain in with what your product is. So for an example, we didn't do a sales pitch on Matt. It was kind of like, you need help. But if we were to do a sales pitch and someone came to us and they said, oh, I want to grow my business. Beautiful thing is, okay, where to? What's your business look like? Like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to be able to earn $10,000 a month. Okay, beautiful goal. Why? What's why $10,000? Oh, it just sounds good. You could leave it at that. Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Well, my program's XYZ. If you went another level and you said, okay, but okay, I love that you think it sounds good. Phenomenal. So does a hot fudge sundae at Mackey's. That sounds phenomenal. But why, what will $10,000 do for you? Well, it would replace my income. Okay. Well, what do you do at the moment? And you can see how it will keep unraveling and you'll establish a pain that you can put in and guarantee in your results. Now, if you can't guarantee it, don't be an asshole. But if you can guarantee you know your product works, tick. If you have no one, test it out on some people. If you test it out on 2 or 3 people and you get them amazing results, you'll have the best referrals ever. And then you can start implementing it. So if you feel like you're nervous and you don't know, try.
Love your work. And then in terms of you and your business now, is it more you guys are more creating the lifestyle that you want? It obviously sounds like you're outsourcing a lot of things, which is great. And
They also
obviously,
make calls us semi-retired. So it is incredibly strange. I'm turning 30 in March. I'm turning 30, and I always said I'd be a millionaire by I'm 30, and I am not wrong. But on top of that as well is that it's not about the money you're earning. I have a very young family. It's phenomenal what it gets to do. So with it, it gives me space to choose if we want to mentor a select few people or if we want to go into our sports. But it's also the times you can also double down and keep growing. But when you get to a point of choice, it's a luxury and we don't take that for granted. Choice and time and money and energy, it gives you choice and a lifestyle, which is phenomenal. And as I said, if I died tomorrow, I've done everything I always want to do.
well said, well said. Yeah, I think so just going back to the reason why I wanted to work with you guys. And by the way, you guys didn't even need to do me a sales pitch. You just needed to tell me how much it cost, and I was like, "Yeah, no worries."
I think this is the beautiful thing about it is that if you could just say what you've done, we didn't even really. I think Jake just met you, and then he was like, and then he was like, came home and he's like, Matt needs a lot of help with things, and we're like, sure. He's like, do you want to do this? I was like, I love talking to people and helping people. Why not? And I think that's a beautiful thing. Sometimes passion can come from you just loving what you do, and I love what we do, and that's the beautiful thing. If you have that choice, do not be selfish with it. If you have the choice of you get to help people every day and that's what you wanted to do and you're earning it, phenomenal. Be grateful.
Yeah,
Shut up, Benjamin from Newcastle.
100%. Literally, when I met Jake, literally for the first time, I basically asked him a couple of questions regarding ads, and we basically identified all these things I was needing help with. And I was like, well, why don't you just help me? And he's like, oh, I'll talk to my wife and we'll figure out what it would be like. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Just tell me what it would be like, and I'm in. So it was super
I
easy.
think I think it's really cool, but it wasn't even the ads. I think it was just all those instrumental things in your business, which I think is phenomenal. And you have a phenomenal program. It's just being able to deliver it to the people in the right way. Why would you not?
Yeah.
Sense to me.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just crazy. Like, if we didn't have that conversation, who knows where I'll be doing now? I'd probably still be doing face-to-face PT.
You'll be in the fucking gym, Matt, going, I might go online. I might do this. I love going in and wasting 20 hours of my day. This is my accent from Matt. That's a terrible impersonation. That's my favorite thing. When people are like, I don't mind. I'm like, it's a safety net. It's a comfortability, right? But it's like if we worked out right, that even if quarter of your clients came with you and what you were doing, it's like, well, you're earning the same amount. It doesn't make any sense. And I think that sometimes when you have someone from a different angle, literally give you a slight slap and go, Matt, Matt, what are you doing? This makes no sense. And I can imagine it was like it wasn't a fight, but every time I was like, have you gone off? Are you online officially? It's like, oh, October. Why? Like, what are you saving yourself here? It makes no sense. But you've got to be when you're ready, but having that person to slightly nudge you and go, all right, now you're being ridiculous. That's what someone's good and has your best intentions for. Works well.
Yeah, 100%. And my final question for you, because you guys are very specific with who you work with, so like nurses and teachers, um, for like obviously a lot of people starting out online,
Yes.
do you suggest being super, super specific with who you're going to help, or do you just try and help as many people as you can?
Macca's is cheap because it services everyone. Fine dining is not for everyone and they can charge more.
What a good analogy. That was good.
You pay for unique. You got to think as someone who specializes in something, they don't work with everybody.
Hmm.
If you want for everyone, you're for everyone. But if you're select and you pick it, why would the swimmer who finds someone who coaches ex swimmers to lose 10 kilos, which by the way is a great niche because every swimmer gets overweight, 10 kilos in 12 weeks? Why would they then go with the person that's just at the gym and says, I can help you get your goal? Who are you choosing? And people go, oh, there's not enough people. Bullshit. Go outside. Go to a cafe on a Monday. I'm always surprised how many people there are. Go outside and you'll be like, there's a million people. You are never going to run out of people. It's a fear I think we've got in health that you're going to not get a sale. The more people you restrict, it's getting access to an exclusive club that you want to get access to. It's like, oh, but I want to, right? You might want to service them, you might not. But if you select yourself and then you have a beautiful community of nurses and they're like, hey, this is just for nurses, get the fuck out. Like you've created something wonderful.
Yeah, well said. If people want to follow along your journey, whether it's FitTribe or yourself, where could they find you?
I really need to get better at my own social media. I was and I wasn't. FitTribe, guys, follow my business. It's phenomenal if you do. It's just FitTribe_official. You'll see Jake and myself on the pages a lot. I am going to start my social media up again in March. I'm just in a massive training block at the moment. But yeah, just Jake. He's very good. And our business page, it's my baby. So follow along with that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Bye, Matt.
Bye.